everybody. So today I'm going to be showing you a variety of beginner belly dance moves, really focusing on the technique, explaining it in depth. Hopefully you're warmed up before you do this. I'm going to just put my hip scarf over my right side. The movement that's going to give you the most belly dance in your movement is a hip slide. So the hip slide, let me move back a little bit. I think I'm going to move the camera down in just a second. All right. So the hip slide is basically our whole body would be going side to side. Imagine you're on a boat. So you're on a swaying boat. Hopefully you don't get seasick. And you're going to take the hips. Oh, the whole body is swaying side to side. The weight is shifting right and left. And just feel the weight going side to side. Your whole foot pressing on the floor, on side to side. And we start to sway a little bit. All right, but now let's just hold up in the upper body. So just imagine that you've got, let's say, a rope around you and it's holding you in place in the upper body, but you're still on that ship that's going side to side, that's swaying side to side. So the hips are going side to side, but the upper body is still and relaxed. So this movement is really fundamental to so many belly dance movements. Being able to control which direction your hips are going. It's so important. So where's your weight on your feet? Well, when I'm sliding out, and now I'm on my left foot, I feel it on the toe and the heel. But the weight is also going outside on the outside edge of the foot. Outside. So we want to think about the hips going away from the armpits. You could imagine that your hips are on, let's say, a bowl on a desk. A bowl on a desk that's full of water, and you're sliding that bowl neatly, evenly, side to side. All right, the other thing you're going to want to think about with your hip slide is if your pelvis is tilted. So if the pelvis is tilting, that means I'm either lifting my tailbone or I'm lifting the pubic bone. It's a lot more common to lift the tailbone, but in either case, the front of the hips need to be relaxed. I'm not doing stretches in this particular video, but you need to have your body nicely stretched out if you want to really get to the full potential of your dance ability. So the hips are a bowl that's sliding side to side. Common mistakes with this movement would be basically the one I see the most would be where the whole body is kind of coming along a little too much, or you're bending. So this is a way to cheat where you tip this is a big exaggeration. I've never seen anyone in class do this, but if you were to tip your shoulder down to the outside of your foot, you'll get a nice warm up for your waist, but you're not going to get the hip slide. So if you want to get the hip slide, you want to bring the weight side to side, side to side, and keeping the hips aiming towards away from your armpits. Another nice thing to think about when you're doing this movement is, yes, you're pressing your weight out to the side, but also think about where the weight is coming from. So I'm not just letting the weight go out, I'm also thinking about my other hip helping to push the hip. So this side is helping to push me this way, this side helps to push me this way. So I'm trying to think of something else that goes wrong with the hip slide. I think the other one would just be doing it like this with your tailbone all the way behind you and lifted. That doesn't feel good quickly, and it also limits your possible range of motion. All right, what comes next with beginner belly dancing? Well, the first thing I want to do is just make sure that we have a neutral pelvis. So if we test it and we take the pubic bone up to the nose, and then we take the tailbone up to the ceiling. Pubic bone up to the nose, tailbone up to the ceiling. Let's overdo it in the front, taking the pubic bone up to the ceiling and leave it there and try to relax. Shake out your body a little bit Shake out your body a little bit, stand up tall, and then relax your legs and relax your stomach. And if you had your tailbone up, hopefully it feels a little bit more dropped now. So now we're going to take the hips up. So we're going to soften the knees, and we're going to use the knees to lift the hips. Again, this is a movement where if you take your body, your upper body with you too much, it's not going to quite work. I'm trying to really take my body with me well. There we go. So my legs are bending and straightening. I have my hands on my hips, and I'm imagining that I'm holding a steering wheel. So the steering wheel has a central axis. Let's say here's my hands. Here's the central axis, and they go up around. It's really like a wheel, like you're holding a wheel, and you're bending and straightening the legs. You're not fully locking the legs out. You're going from a nice soft straight to a soft bend. So it's nothing too dramatic. The problem that people have with this move is being unable to take the hip away from the rib cage. So with this, I do see something like this, where if the waist is too tight, the hips won't go down. Besides stretching the waist, and that's something that you can find in a lot of different places, one thing that might be helpful, I don't know if you can see me, I think I'm gonna just go with yes. One thing that can be helpful is going on the floor and drawing the foot away from the body. Draw the foot away from the body. You'll feel how your upper body responds, which is great. And now hopefully you feel that, oh, we do have some separation here between the ribs and the hips. And then when we come to standing, let's see if we can translate that into our standing movement. So let's go ahead and start with the arms up. Let's really do exactly what we had on the floor of stretching up while we drop the hip. Stretch up while we drop the hip. Stretch up while we drop the hip. Oh, get the shoulder down a little bit too. Stretch up while we drop the hip. Stretch up while we drop the hip. And let's reach, reach. Make sure you're moving your hips. So you have to make sure you're moving your knees. I'm going to reach and bend the leg. Right? Reach and bend the left. And if you are moving your arms and you're bending the knee, this should work. It really should. Tell me if it doesn't. So this should get the hips going like this. So we have down, 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 down. Good. Down, down, down. That's it. Hopefully that's it. Let me know. All right. Oops. Okay, so what can we do with the two belly dance moves that we have so far? We have a slide, we have drops. Well, let's go into our next move. Let's go into a twist. Super basic, super important. Going from the slide, and now instead of your hips shining, let's say there's lights here, headlights, and they're going directly in front of you. Now let's twist so that they're shining into the angle. So we're going to take our nice neutral hip, twist it, and bring the weight back to the heel. So it's on your left heel, and now we're going to pull through, and it's on the right toe. From left heel to right toe. Left heel, right toe. Good. Now we're going to take the right hip back, and we're going to bring the weight from the right to the left, sliding through, sliding through. Good. So this is how big we want that twist. It will help if you use your knees, if your legs are relaxed in the twist. So if you try to lock your legs and do the twist, it's not going to get you very far. Have relaxed legs in the twist and bring it back to the heel, back to the heel, back to the heel, back to the heel. Now we can do a figure eight. So we're going to go sliding using a twist. Sliding using a twist gives us a figure eight. Slide through the twist. Go from the right heel to the left toe. From the left heel to the right toe. Try and make it even when you're distributing your weight. So if it's not even, you're going to kind of fall front. You got too much weight in the toes, or else you might fall a little bit back. So we want the weight really over the arches of the foot, and then transitioning from the back heel to the right toe. So with figure eight, when people have issues with figure eight, some of it comes from not being able to separate the hips yet, which means you need to work on the hip slide and the hip twist more. And the other thing that happens to a lot of people is they don't know which direction they're going. So they'll think that they're doing this, a standard figure eight, but they'll actually be doing a backwards figure eight. For some people, it's just a little bit easier. So with this figure eight from front to back, I take a twist through the center, right? I'm going on that diagonal through the center. My right hip is on my right heel. Slide so that the left hip is over the left heel. Now bring your left hip to the heel. Bring your left hip from the left heel. Now slide the right hip over the right foot and back to the right heel. Slide so your left hip is on the left toe. Left hip is on the left heel. Right hip on the right toe. Right hip on the right heel. This should clear up the direction. Because if you're going from the left heel to the left toe, right hip to the right toe, right heel to the right toe. This is the backwards figure eight. This is the reverse figure eight. Regular figure eight, you go from one foot to the other. So you go from the right heel to left toe. Left heel, right toe. The reverse figure eight, right and right, left and left, right toe, right heel, left toe, left heel. Okay, so that should clear up your figure eight woes. And then let's go ahead and do some vertical drops. So we're going to start with the soft knees, thinking about turning the steering wheel, using the knees to pump the hips. The upper body is so nice and relaxed. We've done this to make sure that we're capable of pulling the hip away from the rib cage. So we're going to go right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. Our hips with our vertical drops. Our knees are soft. Our tailbone is neutral. The rib cage is lifted. The shoulders are relaxed. The neck is long. We have soft knees. Now we have straight and soft, straight, soft, straight on both legs. Now one at a time. And the hips start to come with us. Good. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So I go straight, straight. Straight, straight. When I straighten the leg, the hip comes up. When I bend the leg, the hip goes down. Straighten the leg, the hip goes up. Bend, it goes down. Good. Let's do the arms overhead. So we're going to reach up on the right and bend the right leg. Reach up on the left and bend the left leg. Reach up on the right and bend the right leg. And left. All right, let's just put the hands on the head and bend the right leg. Bend the left leg. Stretch the waist. Stretch the waist. Now stop moving the upper body. Bend the left, right. Left, right, left, right, left, bend, right, left, right, left. Keep going. Good job, everyone. 1, 2, 1, 2. Good. So what we need to watch out with this, the most important thing is that you are taking your body with your hips. If you're doing this just isn't the move. It's not going to work. So you need to practice maybe laying on the floor like we did earlier. You're going to need to stretch your waist. To move on its own, you have to use the knees. Make sure your waist is stretched. Good. Okay, so now let's say that is completely down pat. We're going to lift one heel. We have a soft standing leg, and the working leg or the decorative leg is going to have the heel up. And we have the same idea. We're here, but now I have one heel up. So let's think about straightening the standing leg. Standing leg. You can see straightening the standing leg. Standing leg. That's it. Good. And it's not locking. It's not bending a crazy amount. It's really pretty neutral. Let's do the other side. So I'm straightening my standing leg. It's bringing my decorative hip down. Good. Nice. Alrighty. So we've had slides, twists, figure eights, vertical drops, vertical hip drops. So this is just hip drop, single leg. So let's do a shimmy. This is a super important move. This was one of the ones you would have thought that I had started with. This move looks like it's all in the hips, but it's actually a lot in the legs. So we're going to pretend that we're running, but we're not going to move our feet. We're kind of glued into place, and we just are very soft in our movements. So we're just letting the legs go, 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 go. And because we did this, and notice how this was a little lower, because we've done this, we should feel comfortable letting the hips go along with the legs. So the hips should be going along with the legs pretty nicely. And it doesn't quite look like a shimmy yet because your whole body's kind of bopping around. So we're going to build up some speed in the legs. And as we build up speed, we also have to relax the legs. And that's going to get us into this shimmy called an Egyptian shimmy or a straight leg shimmy. When you're doing this movement, it's generally pretty easy to get started. And the problem that most people have is that your muscles tighten up quite a bit and you just get tired, and then it looks like this. Something like this. It feels just kind of sad. All right, so what we want to do is really think about bringing oxygen into these muscles. Visualize them softening. Visualize them as balloons that are filling up with air. Visualize them as bubble gum on a hot day. And then, of course, you need to do a stretch program separately. And strength. Strength helps too. So we're getting these legs going. So the big problem that I see with the shimmy is basically people seizing up. That's the hardest thing. So that's where we really just need to focus on softening, stretching, strengthening, breathing through the movement, and you'll definitely get it. All right, so after the shimmy, let's see what else there. Let's go into some more isolations. So we're going to go to our rib cage. We're going to take the rib cage in a slide. And the rib cage slide is super similar to the hip slide in that if your whole body were moving, it'd be like you're on a boat. and you're swinging side to side. But in this case, you've just gotten stuck in your chair, you got glued down or something, someone put super glue in your seat for a fun surprise, and now you're still trying to reach side to side. Let's take the arms out and really, really reach. Really, really reach. You're not going to have to reach this far when you're actually doing this move, but let's just go as far as we can, as far as we can, and now put the arms down, soften with the shoulders, and keep the rib cage nice and level. Great. Now we're going to turn a little bit diagonal, and we are going to reach the rib cage up. Straight up to the ceiling. It's going to lift a little bit in the front here, but we want to think about moving from here, not from here. So don't pinch the shoulders back. Think about just getting taller and lifting up your neck. If someone is up in the rafters there and you want to show them your necklace. So getting taller, lift, and lift. Lift. All right, so I hope that you found some of those explanations helpful. Let me know your questions, and I look forward to dancing with you again soon.